make sure the volume's up. Alright, let me get comfortable. Hey everybody. I wanted to throw this video out there real fast. I didn't wait for anybody to come into the room. I'm doing a live video. But this is going to be the weekly healing messages. Trying to get fit, figure out how to get comfortable. This is going to be the weekly healing messages for May 5th through May 15th. But before I really truly get into just the energy of what's going on this week, I want to throw out there the importance of understanding. See, astrology is so much more than just a cycle. I was saying this on my video that I did last week. There's absolutely nothing wrong with following the moon cycles. Every moon cycle has, it has its new moon, waning, waxing. The dark moon has the full moon. And there are the rituals that you need to take part in, as you go through each and every one of these cycles. However, with true astrology, it's all about a cycle within a cycle within a cycle. And I want you to realize before I get into this week's healing messages how important that is. Because true astrology is going to be speaking to your ascending sign. It is speaking to your sun sign. It is speaking to your moon sign. It's speaking to, every planet and where it is. But it's energies that are taking place within specific houses and what is going on. And while, at a typical time, you might be going through the full moon cycle, or you might be going through a new moon or a dark moon cycle. I want you to understand the bigger platform right now is kind of like a dark moon part of a cycle that you're not truly going to fully see your way out of until next year. And I'm going to explain that as I get into this week's healing messages as to why you're going to see it that way. The reason is it just happens to be the way that the planets are lining up. I've been speaking a lot to everybody lately about, coming into the energies of purgatory or the void, and then how spirit has been showing me the darker aspects of things. And while you've had a chance the last 2 years to discover a lot of this information about yourself and the changes you need to make, now we're about to go a whole lot further down the rabbit hole. And it's starting more or less within this week, especially. So you've had time to jumpstart the shifts of changes that need to take place because of things that have been shown to you over the last 2 years. But for those of you who are truly stuck in your psychic martyr sickness, because that's the way spirit gives it to me, in your own personal psychic martyr sickness, meaning you'll stick with your beliefs because it's too hard to try to find and realize and mature and grow into something newer and more truthful. And this is where, like I said, we're getting into going down the rabbit hole, and we're really starting to look into like a dark moon phase that's going to last a year, so that you can actually make the proper changes. Now, the fact of a psychic martyr sickness means you're able to realize this is 12th house energy. This is all about what we are in denial of. This is what we have put so far back in the closet that we put a closet in front of it so we could make sure we never found those skeletons again. This is the kind of stuff you're getting into. All right? There is a time during this year to evaluate these things, to come true face to face with some of those psychic sicknesses. This is why Spirit's been giving me, retrogrades were so important, and look at a lot of the energies, even when things aren't in retrograde, as if they are, because we are coming into true depth of inside. Now, let me run down the energies of what's going on this week alone and a little bit of what's coming, and then I'm going to explain better to you what this all is about. On top of that, let me rush every mother out there. Happy Mother's Day, so that I got that out of the way, and I hope that you have a wonderful Mother's Day. On May 8th, Venus is moving into Gemini. Do not forget the North Node is in Gemini right now. Venus is moving into Gemini. Mercury is in Gemini. The new moon will take place on the 11th in Taurus. That has a lot to do with your money, with your finances, with your independence on how you create and spend your money, your manifestation of those possessions. Or are you the possession? Because it speaks to you about self-worth, self-value, self-esteem. And it also speaks to you about your independence, your individuality, your uniqueness, your freedom. So are you learning how to control your life and to truly be the king or queen in your life? Or are you still being pushed around and manipulated? And what is this new moon showing you about this energy? This is why I said you're coming into a new moon cycle starting on the 11th in Taurus right now, which Uranus is ruling. Uranus is ruling at the time because it's going to be there for several years. Uranus in Taurus is speaking to about your self-worth, self-value, self-esteem, your independence, your individuality, your uniqueness, your freedom, your inventive nature as to how you gain and spend your money, your self-dignity. And it is speaking to you about if you have it or if someone you've allowed to take it from you. So this is also where part of this purgatory energy comes from. Because when you don't feel empowered in your own life, someone else will empower you. Period. And it's asking us to get back on the right side of soul. Now, with that being said, you also have Jupiter moving into Pisces on the 13th. Let me help you comprehend. Right there is your year in the void. Your year in purgatory. Anything Jupiter touches, it is manifestation. Jupiter is typically viewed as lucky. But luck also depends on what you believe and how you view it and what energies you fill its manifestation with. Jupiter is stepping into the 12th house, which is Pisces energy. And Jupiter is higher knowledge about your 12th house psychic sicknesses. Okay? And this is where we feel shame, where we're stuck in our denial, our guilt, our shame, our blame, where I like to put it in the, a lot of times when I speak about the other asteroids and dwarf planets, and I'm like, it's the Kuiper belt. You're going out into the cold, into the denials that you don't ever want to have to face, but you have no choice this year. Jupiter will be in your face with it. Okay? Jupiter is manifestation. So it depends on if you're facing those psychic martyr sicknesses as to if the true 12th house is healing and beginning a new cycle, or if you are just going to stay in this cycle for the rest of your life, because you only have this 1 year of Jupiter moving into Pisces to truly get face to face with your denial, your shame, your blame, your guilt, everything that the 12th house represents. And Neptune is here, which creates your magic. So are you creating healthy magic by being face to face with your truth, with your depth, with everything that you're afraid of yourself? Or are you just going to create bullshit, more or less? That's your whole year starting. Because Jupiter takes an entire year to go around through the one sign. Then Pluto also has just gone retrograde. Pluto has gone retrograde. It's no longer just speaking to you. It's in overdrive, kicking down the door, going, I'm not taking this shit anymore. And Pluto is the outer world. I mean, not the outer world. Capricorn is the outer world. It's your universal 10th house. It's the house of the outer realm. It's the society around you. It is politics. It is everything of where the outer world is trying to control you and go, let me see if you still have any spirit, any soul left, or will I devour it? So this is all about you coming back to you. But in order to truly do that, like I said, this is where the outer world has been trying to show you where you're doing it wrong, so that you can get back to the soul flame that you are. Saturn is going retrograde at the end of the month on the 23rd in Aquarius. This is talking about the goals, the dreams, the ambitions, the people in your life, the memberships of your life, and are they actually ones that are helping support the dream of your life coming true, or are they setting walls and restrictions against you? Okay? Plus, you've been evaluating everything for the last 2 months that you've been going through for the last 2 years, last year especially, because Saturn is in Aquarius. All right? And it's about to go retrograde, which means it's going to go overdrive into only communicating with you. Self-centeredness is about to start stepping in. This is where we have to worry about also the fact of feeling entitled. Going from standing in your value, standing in your worth, standing in your knowledge of soul flame to entitled narcissist energy. Not to mention, Cirrus, not Sirius, Cirrus is still the wounded healer. And, not Cirrus, I'm sorry, Cirrus speaks to you about too close to home. And it is also in Aries at this time. A brand new beginning cycle. It's moving very slowly. It's in no rush. Okay? This is all talking about you starting to truly ignite the inner flame within you. But you are going to have to acknowledge the depths of you. You're going to have to acknowledge where you're a martyr to yourself. Okay? Not to mention, Mercury goes retrograde as well on the 29th. So you're talking about shadow energies all coming forward. You had 2 weeks, 2 to 3 weeks of planets all moving forward and everything jump starting, or at least trying to put you in the right place. Now it feels like your energy has hit the wall and you're exhausted and you're having to back build energy because those retrogrades and those shadow effects are starting to take a place, and they're starting to no longer look outwardly. They're forcing you to look inwardly, and if it's overwhelming, it's making you feel like you're in quicksand. Mars for this next week and a half is not getting along with Chiron in Aries. That's the wounded healer. This is saying, where are you not taking the action that you know you need to take? But where do you not believe in yourself? So you're giving up. Because that means you need to work on some of your head work. That means you're getting psyched out. And this is the wrong time to allow a new cycle to start off in a bad form. So this is talking about where the wounded healer has not been able to heal over and over again. And it's trying to say, where is your inner warrior just thrown in the towel? The quicksand. Get out of it. Jupiter is questioning everything that is going on in Taurus and everything that is going on in Gemini. All right. Jupiter, which is moving into Pisces, coming out of that 11th house of your goals, your dreams, your ambitions, your friends, your groups, your memberships. Do they support you or not? And moving into the 12th house of grief, sorrow, shame, blame, insecurity. And it's speaking to that Taurus energy, which is, why can't you find your heaven? Why can't you create it? Well, it has everything to do with your independence, your individuality, your uniqueness, your freedom, your liberation, your believing in yourself. And it's illuminating where you're lacking it. And where you're following into a society has always told you and giving up on yourself. So it's a trigger moment right now of trying to speak to you about what not to do. Not to mention, like I said, Jupiter is manifestation. It's the abundance of everything. Everything it touches, it multiplies with. It's also speaking to Gemini energy, with Venus moving into Gemini, communication house, and Mercury, which is in shadow, or going to be starting to come into shadow. So this is where the sensitive communication with self and the outer world is starting to get touchy. But you have to face these things. And I'm just helping you realize it. Saturn also is not getting along with Uranus and the sun. So it's speaking about all of those uncomfortable positions that you need to take to overcome your inner psychic martyr. That inner psychic martyr sickness. Where do you need to start believing in yourself again? Because it's trying to show you everywhere that you're not. Pluto, on the other hand, is getting along great with the sun, because Pluto is the soul trying to show you where the death that's no longer good for you needs to freaking come to an end, and you need to start illuminating that inner soul. So the sun is illuminating the parts of you you don't believe in. If you'll believe in yourself and see through the illusion of what you can't seem to get on board with yourself on, and what you can't feed the soul with, Pluto is trying to teach you what you need to see so that you can find your way back to illuminating that soul fire. And Neptune and Palace, like I said, Neptune and Palace is all about creating your magic. But Palace is strategic thinking. It's Athena, the warrior goddess. It's about acknowledging, as Jupiter moves in, just what people are supporting your healing of your magic, of your creation, of your depths, of your soul fire. From that grief, that sorrow, that shame, that blame, that insecurity. Where are they helping you to face it, pat you on the back, tell you you're doing a good job, even though it sucks and you're walking through these trenches, but you're doing what you have to do to get back to being in control of your life, into being that king or queen of the kingdom by claiming it again. Palace has the power to teach you the strategic thinking that will back up Jupiter's abundance. But Neptune doesn't give a crap what kind of magic you create. So if you feed yourself the bullshit, you'll be feeding it to you for the rest of your life. You only have 1 year of Jupiter being in Pisces before it's gone for another 12 years. I love you guys. Bye.